Welcome. This is the Driven Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Dean Scarlett. Here, we go over the realities of being an entrepreneur, all the ups and the downs, the nitty-gritty, mistakes, lessons learned, and all the successes. Remember to like and subscribe so you never miss an episode. All right, let's get into it. Welcome back to another episode of the Driven Entrepreneur Podcast. Today we have Seth in the studio with us. Hey, Seth, say hi.
Pleasure to be here. Glad to be here.
Seth is a good friend. I call you a good friend by this point.
I'm honored.
He is, and we'll get into more of the details, but he is an AI and computer engineering savant. I'm really excited, honestly, for him to tell you all about what he's been building. But before we do that, Seth, just give us a little bit about your background.
Yeah. So I'm a military kid, lived all over the world. I've lived in Germany, Japan, Arizona, Maryland, Florida, obviously. I believe that's all of them. I lose track because I moved every 3 years of my life. So it was every 3 years, just pack everything up and move. Got to experience so many different cultures through that. And I think it's why I have such a unique view on a lot of things is from my childhood and growing up in that way. So moved here to Florida my freshman year of high school, went to Newsom right over there. I then went to Polytech where I got my degree in computer engineering, and I fell in love with computers. I mean, just love them. I play around with them. I've built, I think, around 7 different computers at this point because all my friends saw me build one, and then they're like, oh, I want one, so I would have to help them build one. I mean, it wasn't like a chore or anything to me. Again, I loved it. It's like advanced Legos to me. So I would help them build one, and then we would all just hang out, play video games. So that's really what where I got my love for computers.
All right, I got 2 questions for you. Well, I guess a question and a question/statement. The question/statement is, when are you going to build my computer? Because I've always wanted to do it, and I've just never gotten around to making it happen. But I've always wanted to build a gaming computer, so we need to talk about that.
You let me know when. I'm down.
Yeah,
I love it.
Let's do it, man, because that'd be awesome. But
We
then
can custom water loop it and everything.
I don't even know what that means.
So you can buy tubing and radiators to water cool your PC. So that's custom water loop cooling it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll talk more. But you mentioned that you moved around every 3 years. That's a lot. How did that, or did that, I guess, impact your like outlook on life and like traditional employment? Because that's not how most kids grow up. Most kids are relatively stable. They might move once or twice.
Yeah.
But definitely not like picking up in brand new location, brand new state.
Yeah, I actually just saw a statistic, right? Like on average, like 40% of people stay where they were born, on average across the entire United States. So it did change how I viewed things a lot because you have to learn how to adapt so quickly. Moving places, you have to learn how to, the culture per place was so different. I mean, from Maryland to Florida, that change was huge. I mean, from Germany to Maryland was even bigger. That one was a little easier though, because when you move overseas, you're on the military base, so everybody understands that lifestyle. So they're very welcoming. It's very like easy to get plugged into those places. But Maryland was not super military where we lived, so it taught me how to adapt and change and kind of get really good at not just settling for those like easy, like isolating myself, just being by myself. Because I had some friends in the military that, I mean, they would move and I would stay in touch with them, and I mean, they would do nothing but just like lock themselves in the room because they're like, I'm only here for 3 years. Why would I even get connected with people, right? And that's just not the way you can look at things like that, right?
Yeah. So I suspect that we're going to dig into that a good bit more in a couple minutes, because the ability to pivot is so massively important
100%.
with entrepreneurship. And I think you exemplify it. And it seems like that
skill set was baked into you from a very early age. Like, to your point, I mean, I'm looking back at myself when I was a child. If I had been moving around every 3 years, I probably would have been that kid who would have just locked myself in my room and been like, "What's the point of making close friendships? They're never going to be close." Instead, you still did anyway. Like, you still socialize with people. Do you still stay in touch with any of those guys or people?
A few of them, not many though. We're all grown up so much at this point
Yeah.
that we've all just drifted so far apart.
Understandable. So, okay, last question on that, and then we'll dive into your how you started your company. Of all of those places you lived, if you had to pick one to call home, where would it be?
Well, I mean, the United States is just America's the best, but Germany was really cool. It was amazing. I mean, Europe is just so small, and it's hard to wrap your mind around it until you've been there. Like, from my front door, from where we lived in Germany, we could drive 6 hours and be in Venice, Italy.
Yeah,
Like,
that's crazy.
that's 6 hours from here. You're in Georgia. Like, woo.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. As long as traffic was on your side, like,
exactly.
it
It could make so much
Yeah.
so much more of a difference. So Germany was just so cool because you could take a weekend and go to Belgium, and just have a weekend in Belgium. So it's things like that. France was 5 hours away from my front door.
That's wild. That is the kind of thing that most Americans like. And you know what's funny though? It just goes to show how much location impacts your view of everything, because your typical American has a hard time recognizing how big America is, and your typical European has a hard time recognizing how big America is, until you've been able to experience both, like you have,
yeah.
and all of a sudden it's like, wow, that is pretty sweet. That's not something that we can have here.
No. And side tangent, everybody gets so mad about how there's no metro system in America, and they're like, look at how good Europe is. Yeah, Europe's like a fourth the size of America. No duh, their metro system's great. Like,
Yeah.
costs a fourth of the price, but that's a side tangent.
Yeah, that's fair. Plus, it also makes more sense if, like, to your point, if France is 5 hours away and Belgium is a weekend away, you're gonna travel a lot more than like sitting here in Florida, where it's gonna take you a day nearly just to get out of the state, right? Like, so that's another thing too. Okay, well, so you've traveled all over. You graduated college with a degree in computer science, and now you're entering the workforce. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so computer engineering.
Computer engineering.
A little different.
Yep.
Computer engineering is more hardware. Computer science is more coding. And
That explains making so many computers.
yes, I'm dyslexic, so coding actually was not my favorite. I was actually going to college for computer science. Then I took my first programming, and I was like, maybe not.
Yeah.
I liked building circuitry a lot more. So, I did a internship my senior year. The last semester, I actually don't know how I did it still to this day. I took 7 classes and had a part-time job in Tampa at a tech company. Still don't know how I did it. But as soon as I graduated, they picked me up full-time as a network engineer. I was building firewalls and doing network stuff. Just when I say network stuff, people think I'm talking to people. No, it's like network is like the infrastructure of how computers talk to each other and how they communicate, and it's surprisingly a lot more complicated than what most people think.
I believe it.
It's one of those things that kind of goes unrecognized to most people until there's a problem, like you get everything hacked. So I was very much on the defensive side of cybersecurity for the networking side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I hated it. I was miserable. It's not what I wanted to do. Again, I wanted to be at like Northrop Grumman and Lockheed Martin and those places. I wanted to be building and designing brand new things that had never been engineered before. That's what my dream was. So I was super miserable at that job. So that's why I got laid off, which, being now my own business owner, I would have laid myself off, honestly.
Yeah.
Because you want passionate people to work for you because they enjoy what they do, which better quality of work and all of that. So I would have fired myself, honestly.
Yeah.
Which was the best thing that happened to me, honestly. Since I got fired, I mean, my life has been one heck of an adventure, But again, it was the best thing that happened to me.
Okay, so we're gonna dig into that, but really quick, you're talking about engineering. So I don't have a degree in computers at all, but when I graduated college, I dabbled a decent bit with coding and with some engineering stuff, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna teach myself the computer chips and actually building. So I started learning microcontrollers and stuff, and I was building chips and stuff, and I coded a bunch of different things or created a bunch of different like just automations just to use because I enjoyed tinkering, just the same. So that's awesome. I completely get it. I also want to highlight your point on that you want to hire motivated people. I call that having buy-in. Somebody who's bought into the business, bought into the mission, bought into the brand, brought into the company, the culture, the team. Somebody can be incredibly intelligent and very capable and very skilled, experienced, educate, all of it. But if they're not bought in,
Doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
So 100%, I'm in alignment with you. Actually, one of the prior episodes, one of the guests mentioned basically, and it's funny with everybody we've talked to so far, there's a running theme of being laid off, let go, or fired, or considering themselves to be unemployable in one way or another. One of the guests mentioned that he makes a point now to try to not hire entrepreneurs. He tries to figure out if they're an entrepreneur or not.
Really? See, I've heard the exact opposite.
So
I've had friends that love hiring entrepreneurs.
Yeah. What he clarified is there's a difference between being an entrepreneur and an intrapreneur. Somebody who, an entrepreneur wants to build their own thing, own their own thing. An intrapreneur wants to build and own a thing within a group of other people doing it with them.
Okay, yeah.
He's like, you want a team full of those people. Those are the people that buy in and they're really into it. They're not using you to finance their exit, basically.
Yeah.
Which, there's positives, negatives to that. But it's interesting that you brought up that it was the best thing that happened to you was getting let go, because it's a running theme I'm noticing.
It was a scary season,
Yeah.
very scary. But again, I wouldn't have traded it for the world for where I'm at now.
So talk to me about that process. It was scary.
Yeah.
What that look like?
So I was, like I said, miserable in my last job. I was actually, before I got laid off, for 7 months before that, applying to jobs because I wanted out of there so bad.
Yeah.
So I already had 1 foot out the door.
Yeah.
And I got nothing but no's for a year and a half on applying to jobs. Jobs I'm more than qualified. Junior level positions, entry level positions at all those companies I mentioned before for engineering. Again, had my degree in computer engineering. I was like, I qualified for all of them. But I believe it was truly just God closing all those doors. And in that time, I had a buddy come stay and live at my house for 2 weeks because he was transitioning from one apartment to another. And he was like, hey, if I'm going to be living with you, you're going to come with me to the men's business group at our church because you just have never gone. Well, I started going, and that's where I met my first business mentor. His name's Jamie. He builds luxury homes out in South Tampa.
Nice.
And he was like, hey, I know I can keep you busy, put a little money in your pocket so you're not just bleeding money until you find a proper job. I was like, that would be amazing. So he hired me to help him with his office admin stuff. He's building multi-million-dollar homes using Excel and sheets of paper. And I was like, hey, we have this really cool thing called technology. We should use it, right? So helped him just try and systematize and just organize his stuff because, they were doing, every time they would build a new home, it was like, they had like a structure and a flow of where they were doing it, but it wasn't written down. And until you like get things written down clearly and plainly on clear paper so that anybody can take it and run with it, which that's Habakkuk, it doesn't matter, right? So I helped him really systematize and like lay out, okay, from you bought the home, I even did it before that, like helping them like what is getting funding to buy the home look like? How do you do this? How do you know what's a good deal? All of that to handing the keys over to the new owner after they finished building it.
Wow.
I tried getting them to buy a software to help them even more, but there was 3 of them, and one of them was just not for it, which to each their own. But I loved helping them so much. I loved consulting for them, and Jamie looked at me. He goes, you could just do what you just did for us, for other people, for other businesses. And I was like, I didn't even consider that. He goes, yeah, this is what it looks like to start a business. Ready? And then he walked me through it. And then I got the name of the company while fasting 1 week, and then got the LLC and started. And then he's like, okay, I've taught you everything I can show you. Go figure out the rest, and sent me on my way.
Wow. So, okay, a couple things to highlight. One, the power of having a good mentor.
Oh, 100%. I think it's the biggest cheat code.
Yeah, for real. It's funny to me because I agree. Same. Not quite the same exact story, but I've had many mentors, and I will recommend that to anybody who's just getting started every day of the week. But there's so many people. To be fair, there are a lot of people who will take advantage. Mm. There are a lot of scams out there. A lot of people who aren't actually what they say they are. What made you trust Jamie?
He was just so transparent from the get-go. He had nothing to hide.
Yeah.
He showed me everything.
Yeah.
All the books, everything. And any question I asked, he would answer. Again, with that transparency.
Love it.
There was no reason not to trust him.
Love it. There you go. So he sends you on your way to start your business. Mm-hmm. You got a name, you got an LLC. What's the name of your company?
Narrow Path Strategies. Got it from Matthew 7.
Explain that.
So Matthew 7, 13 and 14, it's talking about the gates to heaven are narrow, but that's where I got it from. But I just think that there's a narrow path to success. There's a right way to do this stuff, and there is a wrong way. And especially in the AI world, oh my goodness, everybody's trying to slap AI everywhere that they can, and it's pointless. Like, AI is a very powerful tool, incredibly powerful, but it's a hammer. We don't need to use a hammer for everything.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I was walking in Sam's Club the other day, saw an AI-powered toothbrush. Why?
What?
Why do we need an AI-powered toothbrush? Like, what's the point?
What does it even do?
I picked it up and read it. It just gives you, like, metrics. Hey, you're brushing your top right teeth too much. Stuff like super analytical stuff. Like, why?
You don't need AI for that.
You brushed your teeth for only 30 seconds today. You need to be doing it for 2 minutes. Like,
wow.
The other thing, it's just overusing the word AI. Technically, that's just machine learning, and it's just overusing. It's just a buzzword, so everybody's using it. But again, there is a right way to use these tools and a wrong way. And you can look throughout the market. A lot of people are getting very tired of AI. I had some statistics of it the other week. I think like 76% of CEOs have used it. And like of that 76, over 50% of them have just trashed all those projects. Because again, there's multiple reasons, and we can get into those reasons. But it's just, the biggest one is they're trying to put it everywhere where it doesn't need to be everywhere. And that's like my biggest thing is there's a right way to do this stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you the right way. And if that means, hey, we actually don't even need any AI, we can just use a simple Python script to solve this problem, outstanding. Like, why complicate things when you don't have to?
Love it. So your business is consulting predominantly with AI usage?
I understand how computers think. I know how they work very well. So I just help business owners that already have, running a business is very complex. Yeah. So trying to learn AI on top of that when this stuff changes, no joke, weekly, trying to keep up with it, it's just not possible. So I'm kind of that middleman. I bridge the gap between the business owners and what's going on in the AI world, and how is it applicable to those business owners?
Yeah, that's awesome. So you mentioned understanding how computers think. A good friend of mine once described somebody, he was describing himself as being able to enter the matrix but not live in the matrix.
I love that.
And I was like, I feel like that's a description of you too, which is great. Okay, so that's awesome. So you go out on your own. You begin taking on clients with the predominant value add of you're going to help optimize their back-end services and systems.
I mainly focus on office admin because there's a lot of use cases for AI. But if a master of all is a master of none. And I really like systematizing things. That's just how my brain thinks. So can we put AI in your marketing to help you with your analytics on marketing? Absolutely, we can. And I can do that. I've done it before. It's awesome. But I like figuring out how we can make your systems more efficient and help you grow more efficient.
Yeah, I love it. So what's been your like entry into that, as far as what has the path been like doing that? Pitching this to business owners, has there been resistance? Are people
yeah.
like generally open? Oh no, so yeah.
It's I would say it's more resistant because my ideal client's kind of like a double-edged sword, right? Because I want the older business owners are more of my ideal client because they don't understand technology,
Yeah.
but they're scared of what they don't understand.
Yeah.
Which is completely understandable. AI is like the black box right now. No one understands what's going on inside that black box.
Yeah.
And them asking them to then pay me, be like, hey, I can do all of this. I can show them all the case studies. I can show them all of my statistics and proof of work and how I will truly 10x their company, but they're still scared.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest hurdle, is just getting them comfortable. And the way around that is you just have to break this up into smaller things, because I like being what I call myself a transformation partner, and another way of putting it is like a forward deployed engineer, right? Where I'm like in your company. I know how your company functions. I sit next to you. When I do transformation projects with companies, I sit down with the CEO for an entire day. I sit down with even the front desk. I see how everybody does their job, because usually what happens is what the CEO thinks is happening and what truly is happening are not the same thing.
Yeah.
Right? So we have to get on one page to then build the proper systems. So yeah, really asking somebody to do those massive transformations are very scary. They're very interested and they want to know more. So it's really just educating them and taking it as slow as you need to, which is painful, trust me, because I'm like, it's painful to go as slow as some of these people want to go, but it's really just holding their hand and being like, this is going to be okay, I promise. Like, if it doesn't work, I will work with you until it does. Like, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you a little bit of a personal question here. But you've quoted a couple different passages. You already you quoted Habakkuk, or mentioned Habakkuk, which nobody does that. So that's the thing. I noticed the tattoo. You named your business after Matthew 7. And you met your mentor at church.
Yeah.
Explain what faith has meant to you.
God gave me this company. I mean, he's the one who's directing the path. The doors that have been opened for my company, I mean, the people that I'm talking to my company's only 2 years old, and I'm talking to billionaires.
Yeah.
Every person I've done business with, a lot of them have private jets. Like,
that's awesome.
You can't tell me, like, I went from absolutely nothing, like, again, having to move out of my house, move back home with my parents, sell most of my stuff to make ends meet. Again, Jamie also made it to where I was able to stay afloat and didn't, like, literally have to give up my car and foreclose on my house and all that, thankfully. Because if Jamie was not there, I would have had to do those things. But to where I am now, where I'm doing these deals with these people, like, you can't tell me it's not God. And it just also, like, knowing that he's the one who gave it to me takes the stress off so much. Like, I'm just stewarding it. I don't have to be the one that this company's built off of, because if it was built off of me, it wouldn't last.
I love that. So on that, really quick, simply because that resonated a lot with me. When you talk about taking the stress off, what you've effectively described was the value and the comfortability of just submitting to higher power. Being, you know, God, you're in control of this, and I'm going to do my absolute best with it. But at the end of the day, you're going to be the one who provides the increase, and that just lets you sleep well at night. Like other people who might be potentially experiencing the same situation you would be experiencing. They might be in a tailspin or a spiral, and you can be like, I know God's got it one way or another.
Now, don't get me wrong, you still got to put that work in.
Yeah. Yes.
I always say you got to pray like it relies on God, but you got to work like it relies on you.
That's
Don't
a
get
really
me
good
wrong,
one.
I put in the work. I work like, when I first started my company, I was working 16-hour days.
I hear you.
Like for a really long time. It was actually very unhealthy. My friends had to call me out and be like, hey, you need to take a Sabbath because you've worked for 3 months straight doing 16 hours a day.
Yeah.
You are going to burn yourself out. Now, I kept lying to myself and say, this is what it takes, right, to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Because I was very like this is the path less traveled. This is what it takes. This is the life I've chosen, and I'm okay with it. I'm still okay with it, but like I don't work 16-hour days anymore.
Yeah.
Like I can get everything I need to get done before the end of the day and relax and actually enjoy life.
That's awesome. Really quick on that, did you see an impact or a change in you, yourself, or your business from that 3 month of just grinding to once you actually started like letting yourself take breaks?
Yes.
And what did that look like?
So more efficient.
Okay, interesting.
With going that hard, it doesn't matter how tough you are, your body is still, you got to take care of it. And I wasn't working out. I wasn't eating correctly. I wasn't sleeping correctly. And I was doing everything on an unhealthy amount of caffeine, which was a self-feeding cycle. Because then I was drinking so much caffeine, which then would make my sleep bad, which then just self-feeding. So it made my work output, like, yeah, I was working 16 hours, but the output wasn't as efficient or as high quality as it could have been. And what I like to say is I don't rest from work, I rest to work. My Sabbath is not to take a break from work, it's to rest to get ready to work.
I like
So
that. That's really good.
Because I love working. I love what I do. That's why I can do 16-hour days, because I love it, right? I don't feel like I'm working.
Yeah.
So it's more of just allowing your brain to relax. But I also do this thing. It's like if you work with your mind, Sabbath with your hands. If you work with your hands, Sabbath with your mind.
Interesting.
So since my work is so mentally laboring, I like doing things with my hands. Building things, doing work with my hands.
Like what kind of thing?
Well, since I live in my parents' house right now, it's sometimes yard work. I haven't done that in a while, though, so don't get me wrong. I'm not going to say I've done yard work for my parents recently, but
Yeah.
I used to.
Yeah.
I love working on cars. I haven't got to do that in a long time because it's just I don't have a car to work on. I do have a Honda Civic. There's nothing to do on that thing. I love like building like carpentry stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I built at my house, my townhome, I pulled all the wired shelving out of my pantry, my kitchen, and put wood shelving in there. So that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. It's funny. I was laughing because you said, that you take a Sabbath and you rest and all this stuff. And then the first thing you said when asked what you do with your rest is yard work. That's not what most people would say.
No.
But that's awesome. I'm similar in the sense that like a lot of my work is mentally taxing. So I enjoy tinkering too. I build all kinds of stuff. Same things, cars. I enjoy doing yard work as much as I can, etc. So that's awesome. I don't think I've ever put that into phrase like that, but I think I've been practicing that for a long time without even realizing that's what I'm doing, is resting with my hands. I love that. Okay, so let me ask you this then. The main point of these interviews is to get to the bottom of the benefits or the positives and the negatives, the challenges, because there are challenges to being an entrepreneur, and to help the next set of entrepreneurs who are coming up have an understanding of what they're getting themselves into, and hopefully to pass along some information to help them prevent maybe making some of the mistakes that we've made. So from your perspective now, a couple years into this, what are some things that you've learned through your journey that either A, you would like to impart on the next people, any of the listeners who are wanting to potentially follow your path, or B, that you wish somebody had told you before you got started?
Man, where do I start? There's so much. So when you're first starting off, it's very hard because you have your name means nothing, right? And what you're going to have to do to get credibility behind your name is you're going to have to work for nothing. And a lot of people my age, that doesn't sit well with them. So offering to work for free sucks, yes, but I think a lot of people get too stuck in the short term instead of actually thinking about this long term, right? You might have to work for free for a few months before you can be like, have a solid enough portfolio to then take to people and be like, this is what I can do, and this is how much I can charge. So working for free, and then also at the very beginning, you don't need all the stuff you think you do.
Yes.
You just need someone to pay you. And technically you now have a business.
Yeah.
I got really stuck up in all the weeds when I first started. Probably took those 3 months of me doing nothing but working was me just getting all the infrastructure built out for my company. When 90% of that I didn't need to do. I didn't technically need a website. Nobody looks at it. I didn't need business cards.
Yeah.
When you're first starting, you don't need those.
Yeah.
Let's see. I built out this huge cloud infrastructure. I did so much work that was unnecessary. I just needed to go get a client.
Yeah.
So just go get a client.
Yeah.
And again, you're going to have to do it for free for a few times to build up that portfolio. And then once you have your portfolio, then you can start charging. So that would be the two biggest things is, hey, you need to work for free. It's going to suck, but hey, that would be one thing I would recommend is if you do have a job, do those free jobs while you still have a job. And then once you have like a bulletproof, hey, this will work, or not even bulletproof because entrepreneurship is kind of a leap of faith, right?
Yeah.
But once you have like done some work for free and you have the portfolio and you start charging people, that's when you can start floating around the idea of actually leaving your job. Now, a lot of people like me, I got laid off.
Yeah, that's it. Unless somebody makes a decision for you, but yeah.
So those are two really big ones.
Yeah.
Just do it. You don't need all the stuff. And then do work for free.
So on the you don't need all the stuff, I actually just had a call fairly recently with a woman who was asking me for some advice on starting her own business. And she was explaining all these things that she's doing, and she had all this plan and was doing all this stuff. And I stopped her. I was like, okay, what you're doing, I call this productive procrastination. You're creating all these things you're going to do, and it makes you feel like you're getting stuff done, and you're spinning your wheels. But at the end of the day, all that actually matters is go out there and get a client. Like, go talk to somebody and actually sell them on your business. Even if, when I say sell them on your business, it doesn't even necessarily mean sell them at a price that they're going to pay you. Because to your point, when your name means nothing, there's still, even if you're not charging any money, there is a risk on the client. It's a risk of their time. It's a risk of their resources that are finite. It's a risk of potentially their reputation if you do something incorrectly. Or if you mess up somehow, they got to then potentially pay somebody to come fix your problem. So you still have to pitch yourself, which is hard to do because you have to sell them to use you for free. That can feel very difficult, like to your point, but it's required. Go out there and go do that. Right? So I 100% agree, don't get all spun up on all the things that you don't really have to do in the beginning. You can get to those things. Yeah. But first things first, go sell somebody. That might take some time to do it, so go get the reps in on it. And then on your second thing about working for free, I preach this to everyone who asks me about whether how to start their own business or how to get like an entry level position. I was just at a conference and in Atlanta, and I took an Uber back to the airport, and the guy who was in the Uber was telling me that he is interested in potentially getting into cybersecurity. In my prior life, I did some cybersecurity work. And so we were talking, and he was asking me how to break into the field. And I was explaining to him, look, man, I'll be really honest with you. The best way to do it is get internships. Go get some proof of your actual own work. Go get some experience under your belt. And in a high expense, high cost, high income industry, it's hard to get a high paying, like those are going to be really competitive. But if you go in there and just call somebody and just say, hey, I'm a student and I'm interested in learning about this as a potential field. Can I shadow you? Or can I just come talk to you for an hour? You're going to get a lot of people who will say yes. You go talk to them. And then when you're there, say, hey, this was really helpful. Thank you so much. Would you be okay if I shadowed you for the rest of the afternoon, or shadowed you tomorrow, or for a day, or whatever? You're getting a lot of those people who are going to say, sure. And then you say, hey, this was really helpful. Is there anything I can do for you around the office? In fact, it's actually even better if in that period of time that you've now spent with this person, you've already identified some things you can help them with, and then offer to do it for free. To be like, hey, you cool if I come in tomorrow and just, organize that file cabinet, or do whatever? Start working for free. Very, very few people are going to turn down free help. And now your foot's in the door. Then when the time comes, give it a month, to your point, give it 2 months, give it 3 months. Then you say, hey, I'm actually looking for a potential position. Do you know anybody who's hiring? Or it'd be awesome if I was working here. If they have an opening, sweet. If not, this person is going to be a great advocate and referral for you. They probably know people. At the very least, they're now a name on your resume. Like, the way to break into pretty much any field is work for free.
Couldn't agree more.
Most people don't want to do it, though.
No, because it's hard. And what about my rent? And what about all this stuff? And I understand those concerns, but that's the risk part.
That's the risk and the cost. But it's about being hard, yes. But like all those concerns, you can typically alleviate. If absolutely necessary, say, I'm available afternoons or evenings to shadow you, or mornings, and then go work a part-time job in the afternoons, evenings, weekends, whatever. But you can make that up in that interim period. That's first. But then second, really, it's not just about it being hard. For most people, it's also about pride. It's very difficult to lower yourself to the point of just coming in and being like, look, I don't know what I'm doing, to the point where my service isn't valuable enough to charge money for it yet.
Yeah.
So I would like to give you as much service as I have at no cost to you while I build that ability. That internally,
very hard.
That's a hard pill to swallow.
Incredibly, especially with how monetized our lives are nowadays with social media and everybody showing off, oh, look how great my life is.
Yeah. It's hard to be the one to say, well, okay, I'm willing to start from the bottom.
Yeah,
but that's what
I'm
you got
still
to start.
trying to figure it out.
But we all are.
Yeah.
That's the thing, which is the whole point of this. Every single person's trying to figure it out. Like, no matter, you mentioned, that you went from 2 years ago, potentially foreclosures and things like that, to now your clients are in private jets and stuff, and you're basically doing the job of your dreams and barely not having to work many hours at all and enjoying what you do. That is a process of figuring it out. And I dare say, and I'm putting words in your mouth, but you can feel free to correct me if I'm incorrect. I'm pretty confident I am, that you would still say today that you're figuring it out.
Oh, yeah. Haven't figured it out.
Yeah.
Not even close.
There you go. Everybody,
my company is still technically a baby.
Honestly, I think pretty much, unless your company has been around for like 100 years, or it is like Microsoft or something like that, it's good to just view yourself as a baby, no matter how successful it is, period. Right? So that's, I think, the challenge is we've been conditioned to not be willing to start at the bottom, but that's where you got to start.
It is.
So,
Yeah.
All right. Any parting words of wisdom or things you'd like to tell the listener?
You're looking at a mountain on starting entrepreneurism, but the first step's really not that hard. You just got to take the first step. It's really all it is. You're getting caught up at staring at this mountain. Just take the first step.
Love it. Okay, actually, I know we're just going to wrap up, but on that really quick, how do you take that first step when you don't know what the second step is?
Faith. That's part of the risks part. It's scary, but you'll never really know what the second step is. But you know what that first step is.
Yeah.
So you can take that first step. And when you have, after you've taken that first step, you can reevaluate and be like, okay, what do I need to do next?
Yeah. It's 100% faith. And this is something I actually had to learn myself, is that you don't need to have the full path charted out to get started walking it. But in addition to that, something that will help a lot is connect yourself, like you did, with somebody who has walked that path.
Yeah.
They might not know the exact path you're going to walk, but they'll at least be able to tell you what the next 2-3 steps are going to look like.
Exactly. Jamie built houses. I'm in AI development.
Yeah.
Like, very too far apart things. But he showed me what those first steps would look like.
Exactly. So connect with the people, find the mentor, find the business connections who can help you understand what the next step's going to look like. And eventually, like you did, and every entrepreneur's going to have to do this at some point, there will come a point at which you are now creating what that next step will be. But in the very beginning, many of those steps have been charted out. So just start walking it, and ideally get a guide to help you with the rest of it. So.
Yeah.
But all right, man. Tell the audience where they can find you if they wanted to take a look at your business.
Yeah, you can find me at narrowpathstrategies.com. You can email me at sbeckman@narrowpathstrategies.com. Sadly, that is a very long email. Couldn't get a shorter one. Yeah, you can shoot me an email, reach out on my website, either one.
Awesome. Well, Seth, thank you so much for being in the studio today. It was great having you.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of the Driven Entrepreneur Podcast. Make sure to like and subscribe. And if you enjoy content like this, sign up for our email list where you get weekly blog posts and reminders of our upcoming podcast episodes.